Like many little kids, I daydreamed about being interviewed and hearing my name announced followed by applause. Whether playing flag football, longing for the day I'd strut onto an NFL field, or sitting at a Hillary Clinton rally imagining I'd be the first female president, my girlhood fantasies never included anything close to a shiny dress and a tiara. Think more of an all-black outfit with a red tie and a Fender Stratocaster all of Billy Joe Armstrong. A memory representing how different my San Franciscan family and I felt after transplanting to Texas comes from kindergarten art class. The girls I became friends with explained that blue is a boy color, so there was definitely something wrong with my preferred crayon. The notion that activities, clothes, or colors were to be divided into male or female categories was foreign to my whole family. The picture of an 8-year-old me with Green Day painted on my forehead and raising 2 punk rock hand signs testifies that I always stood out. But I did so with pride. As I grew increasingly different from the Crayola police girls, I also grew increasingly confident in who I was. When my friends enjoyed playing house at recess, I had no reservations walking onto the football field every day in my 49ers jersey. Although many kids accepted the gender-bending nerd I was, these experiences in southern suburbia fed my inner outsider until I grew into the beautiful anarchist stray I was by high school. The angsty teenager rebelled against her fascist school by wearing an out-of-dress code eyebrow ring, with spikes on the ends, no less. My classmates know me for angry rants like one from sophomore year homeroom after we'd just been reminded to fill out homecoming ballots. Really? Is it the 1950s? What the hell is wrong with this school that we think it's acceptable to have bullshit elections like king and queen and class favorite and most beautiful? All that does is make everyone besides 10 conformists feel like unimportant shit. I like to think I've matured a little bit. I still find myself passionately giving speeches in class, but I use more research and less fight the man rhetoric. After growing out of fuck the system, I hate my dad, I'm gonna smoke weed, I now focus more on fixing the system. Making t-shirts that read my vagina wants its rights and working on a project for LGBT representation in textbooks. I thought I'd tamed my rebellious impulses until Emily, the first of the straight best friend instead of the ultra-common gay best friend archetype, suggested I run for homecoming queen. Laughing, I told her I'd rather be homecoming king. When she lightheartedly tweeted, "How cool would it be if April were homecoming queen?" kids excitedly asked if we were serious, and one offered to make posters, buttons, and cookies. The next day, I walked into class greeted by a flyer with my face plastered across it that read, "Victoria's real secret, she voted for April." Several weeks, 100 flyers, and hundreds of ballots later, I was officially one of 5 nominees. Oddly, I'd never seen my parents that proud of me. Especially my dad, who quickly learned to double as my agent. He made phone calls and sent emails until I landed a Dallas News interview and a writing spot on the Dallas Morning News' LGBT blog. 1 week before homecoming, my mom's best friend called me screaming that she'd just seen my name on the local news. Thrilled, I leaped downstairs and ecstatically hollered at my dad to turn on the TV. Always one to analyze, I began feeling an inner conflict about how deserving I was of the attention. But before I could obsess over the thought, I quickly found myself back in proud dyke mode. When a Gay Straight Alliance poster went up at my school, one student tweeted, "So we can't pray in school, but now we're supporting gay rights?" I quickly replied, "I pray every day during the moment of silence for ignorant bigots." And was met with a surprisingly large and supportive reaction from students across the high schools. The day of homecoming, I found myself on the gym floor waiting to be announced at the pep rally, wearing a mum with an anarchy sign and safety pins in place of ribbons. One of the other nominees asked me, "Oh my God, did they group you with the kings instead of the queens?" I looked around and sure enough, there I was with the kings and not a single queen. But not because I'd been mistaken for a boy for the 400th time in my life. The other nominees were cheer or dance captains and our student body president, so they were seated with their respective groups. Despite failing to be a stereotype, The cheers following my name were so overpoweringly loud that I needed a few seconds to recover from shock and hold up that punk rock hand sign. My hands went up, but they were sweaty and shaky. Little did I know, that anxiety was going to multiply because reporters arrived at my house that afternoon with a boom mic, a camera bigger than my head, and just 45 minutes notice. That entire night can only be described as the most enjoyable panic attack of my life. From clinging to my girlfriend in the bleachers during the game, to unsteadily rocking back and forth in my dog apartments on the sideline, to the announcer's pause after, "Your 2014 homecoming queen," in which all I could hear was my heart beating like it was about to split in two and shoot out of my ears, to finally hearing April Swartz-Larson and cheers proportionally louder than at the pep rally. But this time, my hands went up without hesitation. 30 seconds later, with a tiara resting on my Sid Vicious hair, a sash strung over my black and purple tux, and a bouquet in those oh-so-anxious hands of mine, I had lived out my childhood dream, just under different circumstances than I had imagined. But back to that news crew invading my backyard. That was only the beginning of an overwhelming rush of media attention. Feeling bombarded the morning after homecoming, I threw my phone, my tiara, and my sash into another room and closed the door. The small inner conflict had turned into a big inner crisis that only got bigger as the articles, blog, Q&A, and video spread. It didn't feel right being honored for something I'd never worked for. I'd never been a gay activist, and yet I was renamed Gay McKinney Sr. and Lesbian Homecoming Queen. The following weekly visit with my therapist must have been a unique session. I didn't do shit, I'm just gay. People only voted for me because I'm gay. Like, how cool, I've got this one gay friend and she's so cool because she wears a leather jacket. She's so funny. I've got all these straight people voting for me who still think I'm going to hell, and then I've got hundreds of people talking about me on Facebook saying, #love is love, and next up, marriage equality. I got so fucking sick of myself. It's ironic that I was being celebrated for being a great LGBT voice when I couldn't even stand to hear myself thank people. I repeatedly spewed inarticulate shit about being happy or honored or how the world was changing, or privately complaining that I was unqualified for any praise. I thought back to how this attention was my childhood goal. Why was I reacting so negatively? I was still sucked into the idea that I hadn't done anything special. After 17 years of living with myself, I forget it's uncommon to be so openly outside the box. And after hearing nonstop positive reactions, I forgot how hard it is being thrown out of the box. That is, until the Turtle Creek Chorale concert. A week after the crowning and still gagging on my famous homosexuality, I went with my girlfriend to the Gay Men's Choruses concert, Brave. The songs and personal stories involved courage. Then I understood why people kept making such an annoyingly big deal out of this. Sitting in the audience finally brought me genuine emotions and a much-needed reality check. These men and the community as a whole have been through so much horror and hatred and injustice that they need to see change. And the Lesbian Homecoming Queen in Texas showed them just that. I'm indescribably grateful I was born when and into the accepting family I was, but that doesn't diminish the importance of the victory. There was plenty in it for me too. I got as close to being a famous football player, musician, or politician as I ever will be. And how many homecoming queens do you know that not only are gay, but have a hyphenated last name, worship Bob Dylan, and overanalyze their victory for hours on end? I think that qualifies as beating the system, or rather, fixing it. And that's pretty punk rock.